Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to another live stream. I'm having some issues with OBS at the moment, so if you don't mind just giving me a thumbs up in chat if you can. The chart should be on the screen. I'm on YM at the moment. And if you can just hear me clearly. Give me a thumbs up in chat if you can hear me clearly. For some reason, OBS not showing. Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Back to another live stream. Excited to get on here with you guys again. Another opportunity to gain more conviction in our model with the market. Take some time to say hello to the community before we get in analysis. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody's day is going well. Week is going well. Good morning, Knox. Good morning, Euro. Good morning, Francis. Good morning, Ortiz. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Tomek. Darts, what's up? Eat, what's up? Good morning, Tatiana. Good morning, Ahmed. Adam, what's up? The Unicorn Queen, good morning. HMH, good morning. Valentine, good morning. Monir, good morning. Jessa, good morning. Matthew, Jimmy, Ali, Jean, Vidal, good morning, good morning. One Girl Trader, Marcus, Jay, Christina, good morning. Livy, good morning. Hello, hello. Welcome back to another live stream. Very excited to get another session in with everyone. Gain some more conviction in our model. Morning, Corey. Good morning, Tyree. Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Mr. Beach, good morning. Vader Pat, good morning. Zach, good morning. Ariel, good morning. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody's week going so far? The week always starts on the economic calendar. Let's go take a look what we have for important times on the week. Head over to Forex Factory. Now, there's two things that I would like to discuss as we get into the analysis. First topic is shown here. Red folders are our liquidity injection, right? So we need price fluctuations, right? We need volatility in the marketplace because we need our P&L to go up and down. So seeing that there has been no red folders, first thing to understand is that New York Open is our only important time for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's going to be our only volatility injection. No red folders for myself means to be more patient and selective than normal. Okay, so when we get over to the chart, keep in mind that we have not had any red folders yet this week. you will see the indecision within the marketplace. That very well could be because there has not been any volatility injections yet this week, right? Our first red folder on the week is Thursday, 8:30 a.m., 9:45 a.m. So the indecision that is in the marketplace, the range-bound trading, makes sense. We don't have any drivers yet. The driver's on Thursday. So we'll head over to the market and we'll take a look. From the economic calendar, I always move to the daily time frame. The economic calendar shows us our important times. What we just analyzed was that there are no red folders today. So the only important time, the only liquidity injection will be New York Open, right? The stock market opens at 9:30. After understanding your important times on the day, we move to the daily chart to obtain a bias. Now, for anybody that's been following along with me in my journey, you would already understand how I obtain bias, but we'll go ahead and go and do it here again anyways. Okay, so the four things that I'm looking at, and I'm looking at this on a daily chart, are swing highs, swing lows, bullish FEGs, bearish FEGs. And the question that I'm asking myself to help develop a bias, an idea to engage with the marketplace, right? A bias is, which one of those four locations did price most recently engage with? So let's take a look. There are no swing lows in here. So if we're analyzing these candles here, these four candles here, there is no swing high, right? There is no swing high on any of these candles. There is no swing low on any of these candles. There is no bearish FEGs anywhere in here. There is no bullish FEGs anywhere in here. Okay. The last thing that price engaged with was this swing high here. Okay, this is by definition a swing high because the candles on each side of it have lower highs, right? The high of this candle is lower than the high of this candle. The high of this candle is lower than the high of this candle. This is a defined swing high. Whoops. Therefore, that is our external liquidity. This external liquidity was the last area that generates a bias that price engaged with. That is my reasoning for looking for an external to internal move. External to internal. External are swing highs or swing lows. Internal is FEGs, right? So look at this FEG here that has remained unmitigated, right? Price has yet to rebalance this FEG ever since it's been created. Okay, so I will be looking for lower prices, right? I will be looking for lower prices because the last thing that generates a bias for me is this swing high. Price engaged with this swing high here. Ever since engaging with this swing high here, price has not engaged with another location that generates a bias. right? On this candle here, price did not engage a swing high or a swing low or any type of FEG. Same thing goes for the next 3 candles. Okay. Now, let me just pull up NQ because there is also another reference to make here. And you can see it right here. So what is this? This is SMT, right? 2 correlated assets are supposed to be moving the same at the same points in time. Seeing that ES swept the swing high and at the same exact time, right? If you hover over the same exact points in time between NQ and ES, NQ did not sweep that swing high. Bearish SMT. Okay. This gives confluence or conviction to the idea. The idea is still generated by how I develop bias. SMT is just a confluence or it provides conviction to the idea. Next thing to point out is, what is the best form of draw on liquidity? Equal lows or equal highs. Let me just take this off here real quick so that you can see it very clearly. Look at how perfectly equal these lows are. Your best form of draw on liquidity is equal lows or equal highs. These equal lows are resting right above an unmitigated FVG. Right? So price is only ever doing 2 things. Price is either running out a liquidity, meaning a swing low or a swing high. Price is either running out a liquidity, or the second option is that it's rebalancing an imbalance. Right? So price ran out a liquidity here. This provided the bearish bias. The SMT that occurred at this location shows that liquidity has been taken. And what would it need to do next? Rebalance an imbalance. Okay, so that shows you the justifications to me looking for lower prices. Now, that sets the game plan for the rest of the day. You create a game plan, and then you execute that game plan. I do not counter trade my bias, right? If my bias is wrong, I would rather be wrong than flip-flop like a fish. I'm not going to flip my bias 100 times in one session. I create a game plan. I execute the game plan. Right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. Purpose being is that it allows you to look at one side of the marketplace. Okay? It allows you to look at one side of the marketplace. Right? So if you're going into the day saying, I'm only looking for shorts, you know exactly what you're looking for. For the individuals that have a defined entry function, now you know what you're looking for. It's only a matter of your entry function presenting itself. Then we execute with proper risk to reward. Okay? So we'll go in, look to see if there's any short opportunities. And how we're going to do it is by looking at higher time frame levels, right? So the higher time frame levels can be analyzed by using the stat map. This is how I will be using the stat map. The stat map is solely for me to have levels to look for my entry function. That's it. I have no other purpose of using the stat map, right? So you get a bias, you execute that bias. You look for your entry function that is aligned with that bias from a higher time frame level. That higher time frame level is the stat map. Okay, so now we have a game plan. And now we'll go in and see if our entry function presents itself today. Alrighty. Now, as we're sitting and waiting, feel free to throw any questions and comments in chat, and we can go over them as we're watching price. You have the game plan. Know what I'm looking for. I will be looking for a bearish unicorn from one of the stat map levels. If a bearish unicorn does not present itself, then I have no trade. Right? I have no issue with being patient, waiting. I do not engage with the marketplace if my entry function does not present itself. I don't counter trade my bias. Okay. Now, for anybody that's asking me about the stat map, we are having a meeting on Friday in the Discord regarding the stat map. So we are going to have a deep dive of information regarding the stat map. I highly suggest that you show up to the Discord live stream. That will be Friday at New York Open. I can also quickly put the link to it in here, just in case you guys want to take a look at it in the meantime. But as I have stated, the meeting regarding stat map is going to be on Friday. So this morning, I'm focusing on executing. Friday, I will focus on the stat map. Here is the link to the stat map. If you use code ASH, that is 20% off. Again, we will have a deep dive on the stat map on Friday at New York Open. And I'm very happy to announce that Juno has done a phenomenal job writing up some research regarding it. And we're going to go over his PDF at that point in time. For any of the individuals that are wondering why you can't communicate with us here in chat, you have to be a subscriber to the channel. So sub to the channel, like the video. That way you can participate with us here in chat. Why did I jump from the daily to the 5-minute? As I had stated previously, I'm using the stat map as my higher time frame levels, right? So I obtained a bias. Normally, you would go to the hourly chart to obtain higher time frame points of interest. That higher time frame point of interest is the stat map. Okay, do you see the purpose of using the stat map now? It can automate your higher time frame levels, right? Making your analysis more efficient. That's why you can see that I moved from the daily to the 5-minute. Ash, when you trade the unicorn, do you enter when the lower low is created with a wick, or do you need body closure? You absolutely need candle closure below the breaker, right? If you're talking about a short position like this, you need a swing high, you need a swing low, you need a new swing high, then you need a new low. The bearish breaker is always going to be found in this leg of price action here. You need to identify bearish breaker, and you must have a candle closure below the bearish breaker before you enter. Get a candle closure down here, then you look for retracement to your entry function for an entry like this. So yes, you need candle closure below the breaker. The stat map needs to be used on the continuous contract for correct data. I'm using it on the monthly contract because that's the contract that I'm trading. So I appreciate the insight. Yes, I have talked to Josh Yu, and he has stated that the continuous contract has more accurate data. If you feel like using the continuous contract, feel free to use the continuous contract. Why did you choose that swing high on the daily? Because that is the last thing that creates a bias that price engaged with. So the last topic that I need to mention is look at where we are on the daily time frame. Look at where we are on the daily time frame. Okay, the answer is all-time highs. So for anybody that has not dealt with all-time high territories before, when dealing with all-time highs, you can consider that we're going to see some consolidation. Okay, look at this one here. Right, this was a new all-time high. This was a new all-time high. This is a new all-time high. Can you see anything that resembles itself there? Consolidation is the answer. When dealing with all-time highs, thinking there will be some consolidation makes complete sense. So, looking at ES, right? Look at this consolidation, right? It's just going sideways in a tight range. You have this range here. We got a deviation of this range here. So targeting the other side of the range, or our internal liquidity, right? The FVG is what we're targeting. Makes complete sense. Lastly, longing at all-time highs. That doesn't exactly sound like the best idea. If you're long-term investing, you're just DCAing because you know that you're parking cash here for the next 50 years, then okay, maybe. But day trading, Day trading? No, we don't want to be longing above old highs. We want to be shorting above old highs, longing below old lows. Okay, so I'm most interested, once again, in lower prices. If lower prices does not happen, then I will not participate. This is not where I'm looking to long. If a long opportunity is the only opportunity that presents itself today, I'm not going to take it because I'm not looking to long at all-time highs. You can see the consolidation on NQ as well. I mean, just look at this. This is what all-time high territory does. We have just been chopping away in this range for a week or so. Like, this is just, what is this? You get a deviation of the range here, and that's about it. This is the only thing that could present an opportunity, right? So, or let's see everybody's knowledge here. In a consolidation profile, where does the best opportunity present itself? In a consolidation profile, where does the best opportunity present itself? At the extremes of the range. In a consolidation profile, the best opportunity presents itself from the extreme of the range back to equilibrium of the range. Okay, so this short makes sense here. This was at the end of the day yesterday, and I am a New York AM trader, so I did not take advantage of this information. Right, I participate at New York Open, so this happened near the close of yesterday. So very choppy open so far. There's no clear direction. There's no clear entry function. That's completely okay. I'm not in a rush today. As I explained while we were reviewing the economic calendar, today is a day to be more patient and selective than normal. Why is that? Because there's no red folders, right? There's no hindsight about this. Everything has a cause and effect relation. Once you can understand the definition to each cause and effect relation, you can start stacking probabilities in your favor. And that's what we do as risk managers. As a day trader, you should always be looking to put yourself in the highest probability situations. If you cannot find discipline in being patient, then you're willingly accepting lower probabilities. In my opinion, that's not a good idea. There's a lot of time in this business spent doing nothing. If you are not capable of doing nothing, you're going to blow up. You're going to blow up all your prop firm accounts. Someday, maybe, if you ever even get to a cash account, you're going to ruin that because you can't sit on your hands. Just be patient and wait. So if, for example, if you've looked at my prior results, the last 2 months, I've been averaging 1 trade a week. I would love to know who would be capable of only trading 1 time a week. People in here are trading 100 times a day. In my opinion, save the mental capital. Save the mental capital. So as we're waiting, feel free to throw any questions or comments in the chat. Once again, if you're looking to communicate with the chat, you have to be a sub to the channel. So sub to the channel, like the video. We do this every single week, both here on YouTube and in Discord. I'm not looking to go over gold. I'm not going to go on oil. I am a New York AM trader. I focus on ES and NQ. So my attention this morning is going to be on ES and NQ. As stated earlier, we are looking for lower prices. So the daily is used for bias. Our bias is lower prices because the last thing that generates a bias on the daily chart that price engaged with was a swing high. Above old highs, we look for shorts. That explains the bearish bias. The hourly chart is used for higher time frame points of interest. The higher time frame points of interest that I use, it could be a swing high, a swing low, or an FVG. So in a bearish bias, you'd go to the 1 hour chart to analyze swing highs and bearish FVGs. You're aligning your higher time frame point of interest with your bias. Now, once you've identified and defined those two, right, your bias and your point of interest, then you simply just wait for price to get to a point of interest that is aligned with your bias, and you look for an entry function, once again, aligned with your bias, right? So the only entry function that I use is a unicorn. A unicorn is a swing high, a swing low, then a new swing high, then a new low. A unicorn is a breaker block, right? This is a breaker block right here. Breaker block will be found in this leg here, right? Breaker block. A unicorn is a breaker block that has an FVG aligned with it, right? There will be an FVG that overlaps the breaker block. This is what my entry function looks like. So if my entry function never presents itself, that's okay. Like I said, there's a lot of time this business is spent doing nothing. Right? This is not the channel to go to if you're looking for signals. This is not the channel to go to for any type of euphoria. I'm not the one to be trading all day long, every single day. In my opinion, less is more. Quality over quantity. Right? I'm only averaging about 1 trade a week. So if you're looking for 10 trades this morning, that's not me. If you're looking for signals, that's not me. I'm going to sit here and wait for my model to present itself. If it never presents itself, then I won't have a trade. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, the amount of mental capital that is saved is incredible. And in terms of long-term stability, we need to always be doing things that are good for our health so that we can obtain that long-term stability. Staring at a screen all day long, you might as well just get a 9-to-5 job. Right? I don't want to look at this chart from 7 a.m. in the morning to 4 p.m. at night. That's the same exact thing as having a day job. This is not a work harder equals more money type of business. This is a work smarter type of business. I have a 1 minute breaker on ES. I would highly suggest getting off of the 1 minute chart. It's too noisy, it's too volatile, and I see absolutely nothing here on the 5 minute chart. This just looks like a bunch of consolidation. Price is doing quite literally nothing. We are just sitting at the 930 open. Right, here's the 930 open. Price has not moved a single point in either direction. It is literally at the 930 open. That just sounds like consolidation. It just sounds like there is no direction, right? Where is the displacement? Where is the clear and decisive displacement showing us that price is one-sided? There is none. So I'd suggest getting off the 1 minute chart. If you see a breaker on the 5 minute, what would you expect from the 15 minute to look like? I'm not looking at the 15 minute, so I use time frame alignment to understand which charts I should be analyzing. Here are the two different time frame alignments. Okay, so here they are right here. I was gonna blow it up real quick. Try to make these look bigger. There we go. Okay, so I use time frame alignment to understand which charts to analyze. I do not mix these two time frame alignments. So the daily, or the highest time frame, right? The highest time frame, the daily and the 4 hour, this is always going to be your bias, depending on which time frame alignment you use. So pick one of these time frame alignments. Either pick the daily or pick the 4 hour. Use one of these time frame alignments to understand which charts you should be analyzing. The highest time frame is always going to be your bias. The middle time frame is always going to be your points of interest, your higher time frame points of interest, and the lowest time frame is always going to be your entry function. Right? So I choose to enter on the 5 minute chart. So the higher time frame that I look at for points of interest is the 1 hour chart. The daily is where I get the bias. So you're asking me, what would the 15 minute look like if I were to get a 5 minute entry function? I'm not looking at the 15 minute chart because that is not one of the charts that I analyze. I use these two time frame alignments to understand which charts to analyze. So we have a whole lot of nothing so far this morning. I mean, price has quite literally done nothing. Let's see if NQ has also not moved anywhere. So why would that be? Why would that be? Why would price have such an issue moving this morning? Does anybody know? Why is there such little volatility in the marketplace currently? Who knows? Throw your answer in chat if you know. Why isn't price moving? Where is the volatility? What can be a reason for that? Perfect. Exactly. There's no news. Amazing job, everyone. Notice how you don't need hindsight. You can provide logic to your decision making before the information is presented. So if you recall when we were looking at the economic calendar, I had stated that on days that do not have red folders, it is a time to be more patient and selective than normal because there is no volatility injection. Red folders are our volatility injection. If there is no volatility injection, look at what happens. Just look. Here you go. Here's 930. Price is yet to move anywhere. Makes complete sense. There's no red folders. So you could provide logic to your decision making, and that's going to guide your actions when executing, right? Like I have no fear of missing out here. I'm in no rush at all to get into price because the logic of understanding it's a time to be more patient and selective than normal because there's no red folders. It's very easy to see that because you can go and look at the economic calendar before the open happens. Right? Hindsight does nothing for you. Understand the logic that makes the cause and effect relations within price. The only other driver this morning would have been New York Open, right? The stock market opens at 9:30. So 9:30 did not provide any clear direction. So since it didn't, along with there being no red folders, it makes it very easy for me to say, I'm going to continue being patient. I have no problem with being flat. Right? I have not pointed out any positions yet this morning because I don't see any. Right? This hasn't happened yet. Ready? Right here. This hasn't happened yet. Right? You know my entry function. So if the entry function is not present on the screen, in my opinion, it's very easy to know if there's a trade or not. Since this is not on the screen, it just comes down to discipline. It comes down to emotional intelligence and mental intelligence. Can you control your impulsive activeness? If you cannot control your impulsiveness, you're probably getting chopped up right now. So, in my opinion, time to be flat. I am flat. You'll see if I find anything because as I've done previously, I'll just put it on the screen. But since there is nothing, I'm not looking to engage. Do you consider trading unicorns if the FVG inside the breaker is already mitigated? So in terms of strength or weakness, your strongest entry function is going to have a breakaway gap. Right? So your strongest entry function will see that FVG that you're asking about be left open. If it's already mitigated before you get an entry, I consider that a not lowest probability, but it is lower probability than if the FVG was left open. Right? The strongest form of momentum is a breakaway gap. So if I had a preference, if I had A+ setup, I would rather that FVG be left open. Do you enter before or after red folders news? So I always wait after the red folders. Same thing with New York Open. I only trade from 9:30 to 12. I wait and confirm my criteria after the opening time. So it has to be after 9:30. And if there is a red folder, then I wait until after the red folder. Right? So we go back to the economic calendar. Tomorrow has a 9:45 a.m. red folder. So I will start hunting after 9:45. That's after New York Open, and that's after the red folder event. On average, how many trades do you take per week? About 1 trade per week. Comes out to about 4 trades a month. Can we trust lower time frame SMT? I would rather use higher time frame SMT. Right? All lower time frames have a much easier ability to get invalidated. And that's why I'm saying get off the 1-minute chart. A 1-minute entry function sounds like it holds less influence than an hourly, than a daily, right? The higher time frame always holds the influence. You want to be on the same side as higher time frame order flow. That's why when I obtain a bias, I'm only obtaining my bias from the daily chart. Notice, if you weren't here during the beginning of the stream, please go back to the beginning of the recording to review the analysis. The analysis was the daily chart provided a bearish bias because the last thing that we engaged with was a swing high. When we engaged with that swing high, there was bearish SMT at that swing high. And now you can see that our analysis is playing out, right? Our draw on liquidity, let's see if we've met it. Oh, we're getting close. We were looking for lower prices. We're getting the lower prices now. Reason being was the higher time frame, right? Sweep of the swing high. At the sweep of the swing high, we got bearish SMT against NQ, I'm sorry. And then we pointed to the unmitigated FVG, right? Prices only ever doing 2 things. Either grabbing liquidity above a swing high or below a swing low, or it's rebalancing an imbalance, right? And FVG. So seeing that the last thing that we did was grab liquidity above the swing high, the next thing we would have to do is rebalance an imbalance. Right? So beautiful analysis this morning. We're getting the lower prices now. Just because we didn't get an entry function to engage with the lower prices does not mean the bias is wrong. The bias is in fact correct. We just haven't had the ability to engage with it because of this. We didn't get this right here. We needed a bearish unicorn because I only use 1 entry function to engage with price. Since we did not get that, I'm fine with just watching price go lower without me because I only execute my model. So, great job on the bias. Price is now dumped about, NQ dumped about 100 points from the opening price. I love to see that the bias was correct. Goes to show the logic works. Goes to show you want to be on the same side as higher time frame order flow. Right? Whether you captured a part of that 100 points or not depends on your entry fund. What prop firm do I use? I use My Funded Futures. That's my #1 prop firm. So if you want to get into prop firms, go to the description of this video. The link to My Funded Futures is shown in the link of in the description of this video. Use code ASH. ASH has a discount at My Funded Futures. Let me put that link in here as well so you can just have it. If you were to use a prop firm, I'd suggest using My Funded Futures. Go to use My Funded Futures, use code ASH. That'll give you the most updated discounts. Sorry if you explained this earlier, but do you still take the breaker if the wicks on it are too long? The size of the wick has nothing to do with whether I will use it or not. It'll change your risk management, right? If the breaker is larger, then you should go smaller size, because you still use the entry function the same exact way every single time. If there's wicks on the breaker, making the breaker a larger size than normal, then go smaller position size so you can still execute it properly. If you were trying to get a funded account for a 50K with 3K target and 2K max DD, what would you risk per trade? All right, so this answer depends on your experience with the market, right? Like, how long have you been trading? Do you need more practice trading? Are you already profitable? Are you very experienced? It depends on the individual circumstances. I'm not the same as you. Okay? We do not have the same amount of experience. If you need more experience, then I would suggest going lower size, less risk, so you can gain that experience. Okay? If you are somebody that has already proven your profitability, then larger risk to get into a funded account quicker is acceptable, as long as you, as the individual, accepts that risk. It doesn't matter what business you're talking about, whether we're sitting here talking about trading or not. You should never risk if you cannot fully accept the amount of the risk. That's my opinion. You should already accept the risk before the risk is taken. That way, when you risk, you are not going to get emotionally or mentally deterred. Do I have a yearly income goal? Very interesting question. Yeah, my yearly income goal would be to make sure I provide for my family, make sure there's always food on the table, make sure the lights are always on. The only thing that matters is that my wife, my family are taken care of, healthy and happy. Money is just a byproduct. What truly matters in life is health and family. Ash, how long do you use the breaker before it expires? If price has ran 2R or more before you get to use the breaker, I no longer use it. Okay, so for example, here's a bearish breaker, right? You want to get the entry right here, the return to the breaker, before it goes 2R. So this looks like an entry versus this one would be expired, and I would not use it. Ready? It goes like this. See the difference? Price just dumps without ever providing an entry to the breaker. Right? This entry in here. If this happens, I'm not using it. This is what I want to use right here. The price gave an entry before it went lower. That would be the difference on whether a breaker has expired or not. Ash, the unicorn present at 8 a.m. on ES, would you trade that or not? I do not trade before 9:30. I only trade between 9:30 and 12. So no, I would not use that. Ash, would you consider the NQ 1 minute 952 candle a unicorn? $9.52. I would not consider this a unicorn. No. This is not a breaker block. This is not a unicorn. No, that's not a unicorn. There's an example on GU right now. Atman, I highly appreciate you and thank you for being such a great community member. I'm sorry I'm not going to go over to GU. I'm really focusing on ES and NQ because if there is a trade, I'm looking to participate in it. And ES and NQ are the things that I trade. So I'm sorry I don't want to go over to GU at the moment. So do you close out all trades at 12 or would you enter at 11:30? You are, excuse me, let me phrase this properly. I execute from 9:30 to 12. So I'm allowed to enter any position, anytime between 9:30 and 12. You can hold the position to stop loss or take profit until the market closes. I just do not enter any new positions after 12 o'clock. So if you're in a position, right, if you entered a unicorn at 11:30 and you have not seen a stop loss or a take profit yet, and now it's 12:15, you can continue to complete that position because you've already entered it during your hunting hours. You would only need to close that position manually if it does not hit stop loss or take profit before the market closes, because I absolutely do not swing trade. I do not hold things overnight. I saw you traded GU last week during London Open. That is incorrect. If the execution labels are not shown on the chart, I did not trade that chart. I show up every single day looking for my model. There are many times that I document my model in which I did not execute the position. It's very easily identifiable by seeing the execution labels. If there is no execution labels on the screen, I did not execute that position. Risk tolerance can't cover black swan events. Yeah, so if you have a cash account, you would understand this. The margins are set to higher limits to protect people from risking. So if you're not willing to risk during certain events because of the larger maintenance requirements, then you won't even deal with that scenario. But yes, this is exactly why I say I don't participate in non-farm payroll, CPI, FOMC. During the most extreme volatilities, there's a higher likelihood that your orders do not get executed. Right? You get slipped, and then what happens then? You lose more than you're supposed to. Right? Were you around for the COVID event? Do you remember that one? Last time we hit a breaker. I'm sorry, not a breaker, a market halt. You guys ever seen a halt to the market? Beautiful bias once again. We got it. We're getting our low prices as we analyzed this morning. Yes, clearly showing to be the weaker pair here. Note how ES kept low. Wow. Not. Get here. Maybe this is SMT. Maybe not. We'll see if NQ takes that low. Have you taken a trade this week? Yes, I had a short. Ash, genuine question. Do you really still take trades after 11:30, like 11:30 to 12? I never see any. Do they really play out? Once again, or how else to say this more clearly? I execute from 9:30 to 12. So I'm allowed to enter a position if a position occurs anytime between 9:30 and 12. Once 12 o'clock hits, I do not execute. Plain and simple. Do you still sit through 9:30 and 12 every single day? Yes. Exactly what you're seeing this morning, right? Lower probability because no news events and because we're at all-time highs, right? Still sitting here and analyzing. I'm still creating a plan and getting a result to that plan. I show up to my session every single week, Monday to Friday. The only way that you're going to gain conviction is through experience. You want to be a trader? Show up to your session and do what traders do. Ash, do you trade the London session? No, I'm from the US, so I sleep during London. Right, I'm normally sleeping from like 10 p.m. to like 6 a.m. So I don't trade London. I'm normally sleeping during that time. Peyton, I don't know if you're trolling me or not, but I answered your question already. I execute from 9:30 to 12. If there is an entry function at any point in time from 9:30 to 12, I will execute it. I just don't know how to be any more clear than that. Ash, do you trade no news Mondays? Well, I literally just said 30 seconds ago that I had a trade on Monday. So you just look at Monday. Monday had no news, and I had a trade. Once again, for anybody that is looking to communicate with us here in chat, you have to sub to the channel. While you do that, like the video. The only other location that I look to communicate with everybody is in Discord. So if you would like to join the Discord, the link to that is in the description of this video. We have a public Discord. That is what Ash Capital is. If anybody would like to join the public Discord, that is free. Anybody could join that at any time. The link to that is in the description of this video. We also have a premium Discord. That is for premium members only. That one has a price. You have to pay to be in the premium Discord. That is called Unicorn University. If you would like to join Unicorn University, the link to that is also in the description of this video. Here is the link to the premium Discord. Somebody is interested in joining the premium Discord. I highly appreciate that, Tinker. Tinker saying the premium Discord is 100% worth it. I already know somebody's going to ask, so there's your review there. How long have I been trading? I've been trading for 7 years now, and I've never gone full time. So I know everybody thinks that, you know, the dream is to be a full-time trader. I'm here to tell you, I don't think that's a good idea. I've never, ever said that that was a good idea. If you watch any of my live streams, any of my YouTube content, any of my Twitter content, I highly, highly suggest having multiple sources of income. No matter what you have to do, if you have to have a full-time job, if you need to go drive Uber on the weekends, if you need to go be a waitress or a waiter, a bartender, something, you need to have multiple sources of income because it helps with risking, right? If you rely on trading, you're going to be very mentally and emotionally attached to it. And that is going to deter you from what you need to do as a trader. So I highly suggest having multiple sources of income. I still do to this day. I've never became a full-time trader because I fully believe in multiple sources of income. Ash, how important is it to determine Dixie while analyzing bias? I do not use Dixie when creating a bias. I look at the asset that I'm trading. I look at the daily chart. When I'm on the daily chart, I look at swing highs, swing lows, and FVGs. What is the most recent location that generates a bias that price engaged with? That's how I determine bias. Right, so at no point in time did you hear me mention Dixie when determining bias. The breaker candles have small body, long wicks. Would you consider high probability unicorn regardless of bias? What breaker? I don't. There is no breaker in here. So unless you're talking about a different chart, there is no breaker currently. You have a tremendous amount of content available for free. Yeah, so for anybody that's not able to join the premium, just join the free Discord or or follow along with YouTube. You can easily learn there. If you're looking for what the premium provides, go to this link here. Put it in chat again. Here's the link to the premium Discord. Everything that the premium Discord provides is shown on that link. There's more live streams. There's direct mentorship. There's psychology. There's risk management. There's live trades. There's pre-market analysis, post-market analysis. There's 3 other analysts in there. There's a lot more value in the premium. So when bearish, the low that took the high gets taken with a body closure Does that become change in the state of delivery? Change in the state of delivery is the opposing candle, right? This would be a change in the... Let's point one out. Here's a change in the state of delivery right here. Right, so it swept out some highs. After sweeping out some highs, we got a body closure below the change in the state of delivery, and then we started moving lower. So it is the change in the state of delivery is the very first moment in time that the trend changes. You use the opposing candle right before the trend changed. One minute unicorn setting up. So, who's taking this bullish unicorn? Let's see who's been following along and who has not been following along. Who would take this 1 minute unicorn? Okay, so it doesn't look like anybody. Not getting any answers. Oh, okay, maybe the chat is just delayed or something because now the answers are coming through. Interesting. Now I know that there is a slight delay on chat. Gonna have to check out the settings after this. I didn't know that was a thing. Very good answers from everyone. I'm not interested in looking at this bullish unicorn. That's why I have not outlined it, because I know the moment that I outline anything, somebody's going to execute it. And the reason why I'm not outlining it is because I'm bearish. Right? I don't think taking bullish unicorns right now is a good idea. It's not for me, especially on the 1 minute chart. So, in my opinion, not something that I will be executing. You are an independent thinker. You can think for yourself, but I will not be touching that. Whether it's a valid unicorn or not does not provide justification to executing it. If you cannot provide sound logic and a narrative to the position, then you're just pattern trading. Right? Like, I'm not looking to pattern trade. I need logic. Right? So I already explained my logic this morning, and that's why we got lower prices. Right, now that we got into a discount, it makes sense that it would get bought up. But once again, I explained that I don't change my bias 100 times within one session. I was bearish today. We got a move lower. During that move lower, we did not get an entry function. So I'm flat. I have no executions. For beginners, what are the most important things to learn from PD Array? Focus on swing highs, swing lows, and FEGs. So, congrats on whoever took it. Great for you. That's still not something that I would touch. The result doesn't determine the justification. Very slow morning. Take a look. Using time frame alignment, the 4-hour sense. Nice. Nice job. Yes, we got a sweep of a swing low here. So in terms of bias. Very good job. Sweep of a swing low. See if it's... That swing low is also a 15-minute swing low. So yeah, if you're using that time frame alignment, that makes sense. Right. Good job. Congrats. Also goes to show why being an independent thinker is the best way forward. Right? Just because I didn't take the trade doesn't mean you can't. Being an independent thinker will always be the best way forward. So, any other questions or comments? Again, feel free to throw it in chat. Maybe the PM session will have better price action, but man, this is a slow morning. Still right back to the 9:30 open. Other than that, we have nothing today. I'd love to see the move lower in terms of the bias provided. Again, there was no entry function to align with that bias, so I haven't had any executions. We'll see if we get the final move into the SPG here, but we did sweep the previous day low. Okay, NQ also swept the previous day low. What about the intermediate term low? Is it break? Ahmed, I'm not sure I understand the question. If there's any other way that you can ask, please do, because I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Sir, why are you bearish today? Please go rewatch the stream. I provided my bias and my logic at the beginning of the stream. You can easily just rewind it to the beginning of the stream and get all of that information. Would you consider lower time frame swing highs and swing lows, SMTs, within higher time frame consolidation range? Yeah, so if you see, for example, right, ES is in a range here. There's the current range, right? Draw out that same exact range on NQ. Right, so here you can see the SMT, whether it's on an hourly or a daily, right? So your intermediate time frame here would be the hourly, and that shows you the SMT within the range. So yes, if you have a higher time frame range and then you find a intermediate time frame SMT, that can absolutely be used. Yes. Hi Ash, I'm currently writing my journal for about a week. Excuse me, hold on. Hello Ash, I'm currently writing my trading journal for about a week, and what I can see is that I miss a lot of trades because I'm at work or because I am sleeping. I highly suggest obtaining more data. 1 week of journaling is not enough to present a result or a bias in terms of your results. So obtain more data and then review those results is what I have to say about that. Are you expecting that FEG to be a breakaway gap? What FEG? You got to be more clear and concise with your questions. There's many time frames, 2 different charts on the screen. So what FEG are you referring to? I'm not going to look at oil. I'm a New York AM trader and I trade ES and NQ. So we are focusing on ES and NQ this morning. Antonio says premium is totally worth it if you're on the fence. I highly appreciate the kind words, Antonio. I spend a lot of time with everyone here. Try to add value every single day, every single chance I can. So it means a lot to me that you're able to say that. So thank you. Does a stop hunt have to pierce the swing high low, or can it just trade to the swing price point? I always execute from higher time frame levels. So if you have not reached that higher time frame swing high or low or FEG, then I'm not looking for a stop hunt. If you have not reached your higher time frame level, I'm not using it. Hi Ash, for daily bias, I use change in the state of delivery besides swing high and low and FEGs, please. Can I use? Sorry, I read that wrong. You can use whatever you'd feel like using. Just because I use something certain doesn't mean you have to use something certain. So if you want to go to the beginning of this video, I explain exactly how I create a bias. Ash, I want to know if you have any protocol for days to avoid trading. If I've already taken my risk for the week, right? I only trade 1 time a day maximum. I only trade 2 times a week maximum. So if I have hit my risk limit, I do not trade. I also do not trade on days of CPI, FOMC, and Wednesday to Friday of non-farm payroll week. Those are the days I don't participate. Bank holidays. Sorry, that's the last one. I also don't participate on bank holidays. If we get your original stat level, you will look to get short unicorn for a move back down to IRL, correct? Yes, that is exactly what's happening here. I've been sitting here and waiting for my entry function to present itself, right? This right here. Since that has not happened, I have not executed anything. That has to happen before 12 o'clock because 12 o'clock is when I stop hunting. If that does not happen, I will not have a trade. From your last stream, there is a 1 hour intermediate term low here. Is it still valid or not? I use the most recent information. So if that is not the most recent information, then I would not use it. Using prior old data is less accurate than using the most recent information. Can you describe your daily morning routine? So my morning always starts with a coffee. Anybody that knows me, I love my coffee black. I need to have a cup of coffee. Then I come to the office. Once I get to the office, I make sure to respond to any messages, which there are normally about 100 or more every single day. So if it takes me a while to get to your guys' questions, that's the reason why, because I have a lot of messages that I have to get through every single morning. After I get through my messages, I then open up the economic calendar so that I can understand the important times of the day. I provide that pre-market analysis within the premium Discord. Then I set a game plan by creating a bias and telling everybody what I'm looking for the day. Once again, provided in the premium Discord. And then I make sure I'm not hungry or tired. I make sure that mentally and physically I'm ready to trade. If I'm not ready to trade, meaning my attention is somewhere else because, you know, if my wife asks me to do something, then I'm not ready to trade. I have to go help her. You know what I'm saying? So I have to be fully ready to trade to even consider trading. If that's the case, then I will start to create a bias. Then I will point out the higher time frame levels I'm looking to execute from. And then I sit there and wait until New York Open. At New York Open, I'll then execute my game plan. So there continues to be nothing shown on the screen. Once again, I do not trade against my bias. I do not trade other entry functions. Since a bearish unicorn has not presented itself during New York Open, I have not had a trade today. And if a bearish unicorn does not present itself by 12 o'clock, I will have no trade today. Do you see how it could be very easy to understand what is and is not a trade? By having a game plan, by having a model to execute. I'd highly suggest looking into this model and then finding the discipline to only execute this model. It will keep you out of a lot of bad trades. It will help show you what is and is not a trade. Right? Go to the YouTube and watch the unicorn model playlist. that I have on my YouTube. If that's not enough, then go to the public Discord. Start asking questions. If that's not enough, and you still need more direct mentorship, then go to the premium Discord. What was your number one advice you took with you from your early years of trading, and what was your biggest struggle to find momentum? My biggest advice is that this business is you versus you. You cannot take signals, right? That if you're looking for a signal service, that will be the most detrimental thing you can do. You need to learn this skill on your own, and you need to execute it on your own. You have to take extreme ownership of your business. That's because nobody is going to manage your risk. When you lose $50, that doesn't affect me. You see what I'm saying? Only you control whether you lose money or not. So you need to learn how to execute so you can control your risk. So the point to that comment is taking extreme ownership, not looking for any shortcuts, not looking for other people to provide signals. In fact, I would have gone to a mentor earlier if I knew that that was the right way at the time. But I didn't, because I was just exploring. If I was able to talk to somebody that knew that information that I just stated earlier, then my learning curve would have been shorter than it was. So the first thing is, it's you versus you, and you have to take extreme ownership. And then the second thing is risk management, which risk management should have been stated first, because risk management is the number one priority at all times. And what I mean by that is not even just in, it's not risk to reward here, right? Risk management is also a part of your life, right? If you're not willing to lose $50 right now, you should not be trading. You should not be losing $50 mentally, right? Like, if you're mentally not capable of accepting the risk, do not risk. If you're financially not capable of risking, do not risk. It is too risky. Your health and your well-being is more important than that. So focus on risk management. Never fall into euphoria. Never fall into fear. If you are euphoric, or if you are too fearful, that's how you know it's not the time to be risking. Only when you're capable of accepting the risk is when you should risk. The first two things that I would say to myself right now if I was starting from day one again. I also do love black coffee. Yeah, put a little bit of honey in your black coffee. It's just the right amount of sweetness for the very I don't know how to call it, strong black coffee taste. If you get a little bit of sweetness in there, honey is also a good natural energy. How long did it take you to only stick to this model when you started ICT? So it didn't take me long because this is what I was capable of identifying. So when I was going through ICT mentorship, I hate to say it, but like, it's information overload. There's too much information there for you to piece the puzzle together. And to be honest, I think that's the entire purpose, because he's just marketing, right? He needs the advertisements. He needs the continued audience. He needs to keep everybody's attention, because I've never seen him trade. So what can he do? He'd keep teaching. Right? So that's why there's so many concepts. But that's a different story. What I will say is, this is something that I was capable of identifying. So when I was going through it, right, and I learned the definition of a breaker, and I learned the definition of a FVG, putting those two things together is what I was capable of identifying. So like, for example, it's harder to identify an order block. It's harder to identify a propulsion block, right? It's harder to identify a mitigation block, stuff like that. I used the concept that I was most capable of defining and identifying, and then I understood that learning more after that point is only keeping me away from executing. And executing is where you build that muscle memory. So choose one concept and stick to it, is what I have to say about that. Choose one concept and execute it so many times that it becomes muscle memory. Don't get strung along by the additional concepts. The new shiny object syndrome is the worst thing for you. If you try to always do something new, then you're falling into the rat race that he wants. Right? He gets to keep you as an audience. That's YouTube revenue right there. The longer he keeps your viewership, the more ad rev he gets. Right? Like, why? I have no problem showing my withdrawals with my government name on it because I trade. Why doesn't he do that? Because he's a marketer. That's why. Don't fall into the new shiny object syndrome. That's going to keep you away from executing. And executing is how you actually become a trader. Marcus is off to bed. Hope you have a nice night, Marcus. Thank you once again for joining. I appreciate your time as always, and I hope you have a nice night. Yes, sir. I tried too many models, and I always come back to the unicorn. Simple and safe. Yeah, that's kind of the purpose, right? Like, if you can't find... If you're always changing the justifications to your actions, then do you even really know what you're looking for? Right? How can you determine whether something truly works or not if you're consistently always changing it? Like, you can't sit there and say, oh, this model has a 60% win rate if you change a variable to the model every time you trade. You see what I'm saying? He is a brilliant marketer. True. Very true. Credit where credit's due. Yeah, he's so brilliant that the amount of times that he has mentioned Robin's Cup but didn't participate in Robin's Cup, I don't know why I don't understand why people don't see that. He has mentioned participating in Robin's Cup for years and years and years. So where are the results? Never. There is no results because it doesn't happen, because it's marketing. I'm off. Time to relax with the family. Thanks for joining, Christina. I greatly appreciate your time once again. I hope you and the family have a nice day. 2022 mentorship and unicorn is similar, I will say. Well, that's the funny thing. It is the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing that gets taught over and over and over again. That's the funny part about it, is nobody realizes that this market was around many, many years before ICT was ever alive. The breaker. So here's an example. Who knows who H.M. Gartley? Who knows who H.M. Gartley is? If you know who H.M. Gartley is, then the next question I would have is, what is the 222 Gartley? If you know who H.M. Gartley is, what is the 222 Gartley pattern? H.M. Gartley talks about this right here too. And Gartley was alive way before ICT was alive. The point being is the breaker block plus the FEG being a unicorn has been in this market forever. It's always been here. People just changed the name of it for marketing purposes. And this is why I'm saying stop falling to the shiny object syndrome. This is just, ready? Support and resistance getting broken, right? When support is broken, it becomes resistance. I know everybody's going to hate to hear that. Ready? We're in an uptrend. Oh, hold on. Wrong button. Ready? Ready? We're in an uptrend. 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 Oh, the trend broke. Ready? What was support for the trend has now been broken. When support is broken, it becomes resistance. Right? So when support is broken, it becomes resistance. What does this look like? What does this look like? Breaker block plus an FEG. But supply and demand's not a real thing. Trend lines aren't a real thing. It's the same exact thing. It's just people change the name of it for marketing purposes. And I'm gonna stop talking about this because there's no reason to keep going down the rabbit hole. The only reason why I'm even talking about this is to show you that you need to become an independent thinker. That it doesn't matter what it's called. There's no reason to fight with other people about what it is and what it's called. The only thing that matters is if you are profitable or not. So instead of wasting your time on learning new things, instead of wasting your time on arguing with other people, whether it's called this or this is right and that is wrong, the only thing that matters is if you made money or not. Nothing else matters. I don't care if you call it a unicorn. I don't care if support has just been broken and it's turned into resistance. I don't care if it's the Gartley pattern. The only thing that matters is if you've made money or lost money. That's it. So you need to learn how to make money. And sometimes learning how to make money is not on the screen. It's the logic that we provide here every single week. Right? Remember how I said I'm only looking for shorts today? And I gave you the reason why I'm only looking for shorts today? That logic is what shows you what to look for. You have to understand how to create a game plan and execute that game plan. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter what the name of something is. Don't fall into that social media baloney. Don't fall into that marketing tactic. PT has 82 PD arrays. Okay, great. How is that going to help us? 82 PD arrays. So he's just pointing to any point on this chart and saying, oh, that's something. It's going to help. All right. Sorry. Sorry for the rant. I'm only saying it because, you know, I don't want people to fall into the rabbit hole of never finding a model because they have shiny object syndrome. And the only other reason why I'm saying it is because you have to realize that this is you versus you. It does not matter what anybody else is doing. The only thing that matters is if you've made money or not. So you need to understand how to create a game plan and how to execute that game plan. Doesn't matter what somebody else does. This goes back to what Nico was asking. And Nico, great job with the questions today. I really appreciate you. Nico was asking me earlier, you know, what would I tell myself? Right? If I was starting over trading again, what would be the two things that I would tell myself? That's what that rant was right there. That's essentially what I would tell myself. Focus on myself. Block out all the noise. Understand that all you need to do is create a game plan and execute that game plan and be the best risk manager that you can be every day. And it's not like you have to be a robot. Like, on the days that you don't feel like managing your risk, just don't trade at all, right? Like, this is not a video game. This is actual money. So if you're not in the right mindset to trade, it's more than okay to just not trade that day. Like, only trade when you're in the right mindset. So the other reason why I'm kind of ranting is because, once again, price is doing nothing. We're still just sitting around the 930 open. And as I've said many times today, this is what I'm looking for. A bearish breaker. This has not happened yet. So it's very easy for me to see that there's no trade here. We are getting close to our draw on liquidity. This was the overall target for the day. Here, this is where the daily FVG is. Go out here, take a look again. Right? See the equal lows. Daily FVG. For anybody that was here in the beginning of the stream. The very beginning of the stream, I told you I was looking for lower prices, and I was looking for this to be the target right here. You don't need to believe me. This is not hindsight. Just go and fact check me. Rewind this video and watch it for yourself. It stated I'm looking for lower prices. We're getting lower prices today. It's just a shame that my entry function has not presented itself, right? So you can have, your bias can be correct, but if you can't engage with the market, then it does not matter if your bias is correct or not. Bias's only function is to get you in and out of a trade. That's it. So happy to see the bias was correct, but it doesn't matter because this didn't happen. And no, this is not a breaker, right? Look, if you look at this, the high was never swept. So we still have not gotten this pattern right here. High has not been swept. Thank you for everything, Ash. Well, that's very kind of you to say thank you. I really appreciate you being here, and thanks for asking so many questions and participating in the community. For anybody that's listening, if I miss your question, I'm sorry. There are a lot of people in here. It's very hard for me to read every single question because there's 500 people in here at once. So please don't take it personal. If I miss your question at any point in time, just feel free to ask again, and I will do my best to get to your questions. Can you make a video on money management? I could definitely do that. Yes, that could definitely be another YouTube video. So, looks like we got our draw on liquidity correct. Starting to reach for it. If this gets hit, then my day is definitely done because this was my overall objective for the day. Right? So, and to be honest, I'm going to go ahead and say now that I am done for the day because we're too close to my objective. Right? I'm not... It doesn't need to touch this for me to be done. It did its job. Right? I was looking for lower prices this morning, and I stated that this line right here was my draw on liquidity. We moved very close to that line. We're only a point or two away. So I'm going to go ahead and say that my objective is done for the day. Planning on doing another back test stream, sorry. In my opinion, I would rather show up to live price action. So if you want, you should go through my live stream playlist, because forward testing and participating in live price action is much more valuable than back testing. All right, so I'm going to wrap up the stream with that. Beautiful day today. Bearish bias played out. Draw on liquidity is being met here. Now that our objective for the day has been completed, I am done for the day. It's a shame that I didn't get my entry function. I'm more than okay with that. Right? We do not need to trade every single day. All you need to do is create a game plan and execute that game plan. If you need to rewatch this video, go back to the beginning of this stream and you will see how I created my game plan. You will see how I created my bias. You will see the logic that I had stated to why I'm looking for lower prices. Here's your lower prices here. Your target has just been achieved. So congratulations for anybody that used that information. The bias was correct. Now that the objective for the day is done, I am done. So thank you all. I appreciate every single one of you. It has been another phenomenal stream. We do this every single week. So turn your notifications on. That way you will know when I go live, but we've been going live on Wednesdays on YouTube. If you are interested in joining the premium mentorship, go to the link in the description of this video. That will show you the link to the premium mentorship. If you are only looking for free content, then there is also a free Discord. So feel free to join the free Discord as well. Until next time, I will be in the Discords. So from here, if you're looking to communicate with me any further, I will see you guys in the Discord. I hope everybody has a great day, and thank you once again. Have a nice day, everyone.